Hey there. Happy Victoria Day weekend to all you Canadians. I think we call it something else down in the States, but I've never been quite sure what. But, for us, most of us don't even call it Victoria Day anymore. It's just the May long weekend. And a lot of people traditionally say, oh, you got to plant on the May long weekend. Yep, the May long weekend, that's when you get things in by. Get them in by the May long weekend. And there are a few things around that are right. The end of May for the vast majority of Canada is just fine to plant. The majority of your garden. But it's not always true. And it's one of the reasons why we really encourage people to rely on seasonal indicators. For instance, when lilacs are in full flowery, full bloom, just pumping it out there, it's warm enough for you to plant your corn. However, in my yard right now, the lilacs are just starting to bloom. Whereas down at Paradise Point, where we have our teaching garden, the lilacs are kind of coming towards the end of their cycle. So, you know, we could be planting corn and beans out at Paradise Point here in Tappan. Nope, not at all. So, happy welcome to the May long weekend. I hope you're getting some garden work done, but it's not really the most auspicious time to plant either. We hit the last quarter on Sunday, so we're actually now in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter planting, often the energy just isn't there. Now, today and tomorrow, we're in Pisces, which gives us a tiny bit of an edge. So, if there are things that you absolutely have to plant, especially if they're kind of leafy things, then they should do really well with that extra Piscean energy. Now, tomorrow, the moon goes void, of course, for about that long at 2:33, and then it slides into Aries at 2:39. So it's literally only void, of course, for 6 minutes tomorrow, and then we're into Aries. Now, fourth quarter, Aries being the fire sign, cultivate, weed, work the soil, mulch, do any extra little pruning that you have to do. Weed control, get on top of the weed control. But don't try planting once we've slid into Aries. Wednesday's not going to be it. Now, Thursday, late in the day, 8:20 in the evening, we're going to go void, of course. And then just a little bit before midnight, we're going to slide into Taurus, which means that Friday is going to be a Taurus day all day long, as is Saturday. Taurus energy, good solid earth energy, but again, fourth quarter, so not a lot of good starting planting energy, but pretty good for transplanting. So if you've got starts that you've got going that you want to get into the garden, look at Friday, look at Saturday. Those are going to be really, really solid days that will work indeed. And now Saturday is also our second session of our forest gathering and our garden workshops. Saturday, we're going to be up at Yankee Flats at Tara's place again, and we're going to have Monolua, and we're going to have a fabulous time there. We're going to see how everything's progressed since last month. So yeah, Saturday, lots of Taurus energy, and then Sunday, we start the day in Taurus, but we go white, of course, just a little bit after 7 in the morning, and then at 10:22 on Sunday, we slide into Gemini. Now the new moon is going to be happening on the Monday, so once we get into next week, once again, we're going to be having these fabulous planting windows coming up in the coming week. So Saturday, we're going to be doing the Garden and Gather workshop at Tara's. Sunday, we're going to be out on the banks of Fortune Creek at Sherry Roy's place. in the Armstrong area. And then Monday, which is the second last day of the month, we're going to have our teaching gardening out at Paradise Point open for people who want to sign up for the garden gather workshops. Now, we're coming to the peak of planting season. This is an absolutely fabulous time to start really kind of hanging out around the greenhouses and the plant centers. As the season progresses, you'll find that, the cost of the plants can actually start dropping as they're getting anxious to get things out. There's no way to stop those plants from growing that isn't going to do them harm. So once the greenhouses and the garden centers have got them and they're out there watering them, the regular growth in that, it becomes problematic. Just like you get too many plants and don't know where you're going to put them all. Well, they count on people coming in and buying. It's been a slow season. If you haunt those centers and that, you might start finding yourself some real bargains in the plant department. Um, the end of May here, you should be looking at getting all of your brassicas in the ground yet. And a lot of the things that you can straight seed can go into the ground. If you've held off on your carrots and you've held off on transplanting out some of your warmer crops, that's probably a good thing. And we're certainly not warm enough for beans yet in our neck of the woods. So you might be in yours, but here I think that we're still right on the verge. Beans like it extremely warm. And if you want the absolute best results you can from planting your beans, I'd suggest that you lay them out on a paper towel and germinate them before you put them in the ground. Just let those beans crack, see the beginning of the growth, and that way you know for a fact that those beans are going to come up for you. Um, Carrots, we've got a little bit of stuff that we've been experimenting with carrots. And last year we confirmed in the teaching garden that planting your carrots and then laying a nice long board right on top of the row where you've got your carrots still seems to be the method that gets the best result. The board shields them from the sun and the moisture. It's heavy enough that the seeds themselves don't blow away. It keeps everything moist. And then in 4 or 5 days, when they've definitely germinated, you tilt that board up and prop up the sides. You let a little bit of sun and air in, and then in about a week or so after doing that, you can take the board right off and you've got carrots that have established themselves relatively well and should be able to just take right off. um, at the teaching garden, we're still working on getting the corn into the ground. And as I said, the beans, we're probably going to be waiting until the first week of June here to get beans in. Now, because I lived so long up in the Peace Country and in Alberta, I get a fair number of questions from places like Fort McMurray and Grand Prairie area and that. And I got to tell you, I don't encourage you to be trying to get your garden in this weekend. It's been a very cold spring up there, and I know for a fact that I've had snow in the Grand Prairie area on my birthday, which is the 28th of May. We haven't hit that yet. I never planted my garden when I lived up north until the first week of June. The first year or two, I was foolish enough to think that the long May weekend could indeed do that. But it was about the third year that I was there that the long May weekend turned out to be the worst blizzard of the entire winter. And I took a step back and went, wait a minute, this is not British Columbia. This is not, a nice, gentle place to garden. And so keep an eye out for those seasonal indicators. If your aspen tree leaves are as large as a squirrel's ear, then yep, you can start putting in some of your cool weather crops. But if you're False Solomon seal in the woods hasn't come up and started to flower. If your lilacs aren't in full bloom, there's no point planting anything at that point because it's simply going to just rot in the ground. Now we're coming to the very end of the seed season in terms of sales. Usually by June, we find that the sales set right off. So I've been considering having a contest. So what I want to put it out to the listeners out there is that if I have a minimum of 5 people respond that they would like to run a contest, be part of a contest, and would like to be awarded some really cool prizes for even just entering, then we'll kick off the 1st of June with a contest that will allow gardeners to get a huge quantity of seeds just for the simple method of entering into the contest and participating in what we're doing. Um, Perfect. Do that. Yeah. So, send us a picture of your garden. Let us know what you've put in it. And like I said, we get a minimum of 5 entries. We will turn it into an absolute full contest and see if we can get some exciting stuff going. Keep an eye out for the coming week because I know the page on the coming week because I'll be sharing with you what all the various prizes are going to be. Some of them are going to be garden seeds, but there's going to be a lot of other things offered too. We're going to get some real interest going and get people involved in not just gardening, but really focusing on growing their own food and growing their own medicines. So, yeah, submit them to the Wise Woman Seed page on Facebook, the Wise Woman group, or the Wise Woman Seeds. Either one will work. I monitor both of them really regularly. And yeah, let's get some interest in what each other is doing, and you know, get out there and garden. Rain or shine, get out there and garden. And I guess that's it. And we'll see you all next week. Send in those pictures. We want to see your garden.